Jones with Survivors with Voices. In this segment, we are sitting with Angelique Gibbs. Angelique, thank you so much for joining us on this platform. And I just want you to look at the viewers and tell them what your unapologetic truth is.
My unapologetic truth is that I'm a survivor of molestation. It started when I was about 9 years old, and it ended around the age of 16.
Wow.
And out of that, I had 2 children. I have a daughter that is 36, which I kept, and then I have a son that is 35 that I was made to give up for adoption, and I have no clue of where he is.
Wow.
And
so, not to interrupt you, but if I'm hearing what you're saying, was both of those children by your abuser?
Yes.
Wow. Okay. I'm like, that just blew me away.
Yeah, and he act like he hadn't done anything, to have somebody that abused you sit by and watch you give a child away,
mm-hmm.
that they are the reason for it,
mm-hmm.
like nothing happened,
mm-hmm.
was like, it was, as a child, it was like really confusing. My whole process of, I'm 48 now,
mm-hmm.
so this has been a long journey. And to be a child and have a child, and then you have all these feelings because you can't tell anyone that you're being molested,
mm-hmm.
because you're scared, and you already not only being sexually abused but physically abused too. That's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So when I got around in my 30s, I made a decision that I was going to tell somebody.
Mm-hmm.
First time I told them, it was my college friends, and they all got so scared that it made me shut down.
Wow.
Because we were like in a intimate setting, and these are people that I've shared my life with.
Mm-hmm.
And I broke down and I told them, and I scared them, and it scared me. It was like, okay, you can't tell anybody.
Really? So people that you shared your truth with in an intimate setting, and they told you not to tell anybody?
No, their reaction was so traumatic to me.
Okay.
That it scared me and it made me shut down, because I was like, if they can't handle it, of course my family can't handle it, and my parents can't handle it. So I made a decision because mine made me have a lot of rage.
Okay.
I was angry from the time, I don't even know when I started to be angry, but the older I got, the worse I got. Because when you deal with abuse and you don't speak your truth, it's layer upon layer upon layer. And the older you get, the bigger the layers get.
Right.
So it's like when I decided to tell the truth, I was the second time I was in an environment with a pastor's wife, and she helped me to process it and let me know that it was okay. Because surprisingly, she was in the same situation.
Wow.
Her uncle had molested her, and she had never said anything.
Wow.
So I had came out to everybody in my family. The first person I came out to in my family was my daughter. And her reaction was completely hilarious to me.
Why?
Because it's like we having an intervention, the pastor's wife there, like one of the prayer intercessors, one of my friends. And we sit her down and everybody's crying and we sharing. And then she was like, okay, can I eat now?
Really? How old was she?
She was 17.
Wow.
And that's sort of been her reaction all her life. But she confronted him.
So if you don't mind me asking, because I don't think you have mentioned in your truth that you just shared, who was the abuser?
My mom's boyfriend, and he stayed with us. But he was beating her at the same time of sexually abusing me. Actually, he was beating everyone.
Wow. So at the point that you were going through that, would you say that you pretty much didn't say anything because you felt like he would harm you guys, more so a fear of death?
Well, he said that if I told anybody, he killed the whole family.
Wow.
And the first time I got pregnant, my mama took me in the bathroom and she was like, has he touched you? And at that moment, I looked at her and I was like, no.
Why do you think at that point you said no?
I said no because my mom is not strong like me. I didn't trust her to protect us.
Okay.
So I felt like I had to carry the weight of her, my sister, and my brothers, and that's been my entire life.
Wow.
So, you know, to look at your parent and say, as a child, I don't trust you to take care of me, that's a lot to deal with.
So, if you were to look at the viewers and there is a 7-year-old, 9-year-old, 10-year-old, maybe even 12-year-old going through what you went through, what would be your advice to them?
My advice would be to tell someone, because whatever you think the worst is, it's not going to happen. It's something that you built up in your mind. So on the other side of telling your truth, there's so much freedom. There's people there to help you. But if you don't speak your voice, no one can help you. And you don't want to live decades of holding that and being 40 in your 40s before you decide to speak your truth. You know, because there are casualties along the way when you're angry and you're hurt and you're holding hurt. You're hurting people that you don't mean to hurt, you know. So I would say tell your parents. If you can't tell a parent, tell a friend's parent, teacher. There's so many people within your village that you could tell. Somebody's going to listen and they're going to help you. So I would say tell someone.
So say they do tell someone, and I get this all the time within the organization, that they told someone and they did nothing. Do you encourage that person to go to the next person and tell until somebody does something?
Yes. Keep talking until somebody listens to you and take you seriously. Because some people won't listen because of the fact that they dealt with it and they don't want to deal with their own issues, so they don't want to help you with yours. And as a child, that may be confusing, but if you keep talking, somebody's going to listen. There's always somebody. God's going to put somebody in place that is going to listen and be able to help you to get to what you need to get.
So how do you, as an adult now, would you say that what you went through affected your adulthood?
It still does. Because I feel like anything that you've held in, it becomes a part of who you are. Not just your mental, but your physical aspect of who you are. It can be, you get up, it could be something you smell, something you see, the way somebody speaks to you that will give you a flashback. Because when you went through abuse for years and years and years, it becomes a part of your DNA.
Yeah.
So even as God is healing you, there's still layers that God has to heal, because there are things that you haven't in your mind been able to conceive and bring up so that he can heal it. If you can't speak it, it can't be healed.
Right.
And as 48, there's still things that are coming up. Like doing this. I didn't tell my mama till I decided to do this.
Wow.
And that was because I felt like, okay, it's time for you to be able to be completely free. So I felt, okay, I really want to do this for me, so I'm going to have to tell her. And as of yet, we haven't talked about it, but my mom's personality is that I have to give her time. We're going to talk about it, but she's not like me, so I can't just rush in and say, well, I want to talk about it.
So if she was here and in the audience, what would you say to your mom?
I would say that I may have been confused and angry as a child, but I know that you did the best that you could with the situation that you dealt with. And I don't blame you now, but as a child I did, but now I don't. And I feel like, you know, the things that we've been through, I've developed a different kind of love for you, because I saw that you did the best that you could. You couldn't, you know, you were in a bad situation. So I would say that I love you, and of course, as I always do, I'm there.
That's amazing. What would you say to that woman that is dealing with being sexually abused and being with, I mean, not only were you sexually abused, but you dealt with physical abuse? What would you say to that person that hasn't said anything, dealing on it internally and not connecting to a support group and a support system to help them get in through it? Because a lot of times people feel like they're alone. What would you say to that person, that survivor?
I would say find people that have been through what you've been through. It's more people that have, sadly to say, that have than haven't. If you're sitting in a setting with 8 women, at least 3 or 4 have been abused. And nobody's saying anything, because in our culture, we're taught to keep it quiet.
Right.
So I would say find someone. I started going to therapy, but then out of that therapy, I started to reach out and find other opportunities to be able to share with people, because you become stronger every time you share your story.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Angelique, I can't thank you enough for coming. And I mean, seriously, from the top and bottom of my heart, I really appreciate you coming on the platform and sharing your truth, because it's a big step, especially when you haven't shared it with your mom. And so we wholeheartedly thank you. And this is what Survivors with Voices is about. Survivors with Voices is about helping and empowering survivors to tell their testimony, to empower the next survivor. We don't look like what we've been through. And I cannot tell you enough why you need to tell somebody. Angelique, what would you tell that survivor that is going to attend the Voice Your Invisible Wounds conference? Tell them why they should attend.
I feel like you should attend so that you can get empowered. Mm-hmm. Being around people that have been through the same situation, you can build strength from them, and then there's always somebody that you can pour into and give them strength. Mm-hmm. So I feel like it's vital for you in the healing process to be there. Any way that you can make it happen, I would say make it happen, because you would appreciate it on the other side. Mm-hmm. Especially if this is something that you've never dealt with, it'll be a safe environment that you can start the process of getting healed. So I would say that it's a great opportunity, and please try to attend so that you can get help.
Thank you. And I can't thank you enough. If you're out there and you're thinking about joining and coming to Voice Your Invisible Wounds Conference, think no more. Join me and Angelique at Voice Your Invisible Wounds Conference, September 23rd and 24th in Houston, Texas. We want to love on you, and we want to help you get through whatever you need to get through. You can't do it alone, and you're not alone. So join us at Voice Your Invisible Wounds Conference.